Monday. I'm the host and founder of the Psychic News Network. How you doing? What's going on? They changed something on YouTube. The screen is like really big. That's weird. Anyway, I have a really big view. Anyway, how are you? Today's I just want to say that I think it's time that we have to understand that our democracy is in peril. Let me start on that optimistic note. I think we're starting to see very clearly our democracy is in peril. I'll check the astrology. We have the moon in Capricorn right now, very grounded. So, the moon in Capricorn would make us want to be practical and to see where work is needed. Hey everyone. And get to work. So we have to get to work saving our democracy. We have come to a place in the United States where we recognize that it's up to we the people. And if we the people decide to stay quiet, then the coup will continue. We are the ones to save it. Yes, we can't count. Exactly. You took the words right out of my mouth, Electrostorm. We are the ones to save it. We can't wait on the Supreme Court to do what's right for democracy. This is a paradigm shift. This is things aren't the way they always were time. It's time to wake up. We see what happened in Russia when a dissident was, just brutally over time killed with some kind of an event that occurred that really did him in, and I won't get into that. Where people that are protesting the government in Russia do that at the risk of being imprisoned for who knows how long, the rest of their lives. Tomorrow's Super Tuesday. I vote on voting day. Pretty much always. So tomorrow's Super Tuesday here. I have to vote tomorrow. I think it's really important that we understand that we are privileged in the face of what the rest of the world is in terms of their governments. We are very privileged. We are very lucky. And now we have a Supreme Court that's pretty much gone rogue. We're going to take a look at that. We're going to pull some cards about that. We have people in our government that are very intimately connected to Putin, that the lines can be drawn with evidence that people like MAGA Moses Mike, who thinks he's a Christian, is working for Putin. Sue Gordon on Nicole Wallace today was great. I didn't see that. What was I doing? I don't know. Today was a day of lamenting. Did you ever have a day when all your stuff was in your face? That was me. Still in my face. Anyway, so the good news. I really wish that we saw, to balance out the really disappointing stories, I really wish, and Ari Melber does do this. He has rappers and musicians and artists towards the end of his show. I think he generally does that every night. So Ari does it. We definitely need a balance. We need to have stories about good people. Yeah, so Jamie Raskin is proposing laws for Congress. Jamie Raskin is on it. Speaking of Jamie Raskin, on Brian Tyler Cohen, and definitely subscribe to Brian Tyler Cohen if you haven't already. He's got Jamie Raskin on him. They decided to together do classes on the United States Constitution, because we know that Jamie Raskin is a constitutional scholar, right? The man knows the Constitution in and out. So let me just tell you, the reason that I was in my stuff today was not related to that so much, but and I've heard Katie Couric say this. Katie Couric has a YouTube channel. There are so many of us pouring hours and hours of our time and energy into our YouTube channels. It's not just me. And there's just not a way set up that people can be compensated for what they do. So we all end up doing this public service. And I'm to the point where I'm thinking, they're opening up a restaurant downstairs for me. Maybe I should apply for a job. I'm getting ready to move. I need to move in May. So as of May, I'm waiting on news about an apartment. As of May, I have to pay a whole lot more money. I have to move out of this office and work from where I live. So, that's just what's going on with me personally. But the YouTube, this is not paying me enough to be viable. And I ask and I beg and I plead and I tell everyone how I have got 30 years of experience invested in this work. I have noticed that this is arguable, but I believe that I'm the most accurate psychic that I see. And that's just by the way, I don't mean the other ones are bad. At all. Please don't get me wrong. But when I nail things, I notice. So I give the most thorough, amazing tarot readings, but I know that people come to YouTube, and that's not what they come to YouTube for. When you book a reading with me, it's a win-win. When you book me for spiritual life coaching, which is really inexpensive for what you get, it's a win-win. The readings that I give will change your life for the better, but it's just not happening. So, enough about me. And I just heard somebody on Ari Melber. I don't know who he was interviewing. Somebody who wrote the West Wing, or that was in the West Wing, that series. You may have seen it. You may have noticed. And he does this like one word kind of, give me a word. When I say this, what's your word that you think of? And he said failure, and she said learning. And I was like, I needed to hear that. Anyway, it's just life. It's just life. If you send me something, just be aware that I go to my P.O. box once a week. Oh, Joan saw it. So you know what I'm talking about. Who was that he was interviewing? Tell you how it helps to change your lives. Okay, thank you for the opportunity to do an ad. When I have you for a tarot reading, I tune in clairvoyantly to what's going on with your energy, and I see the blueprint of your life. And I see what you came here to do. I sense your spirit guides, your loved ones that are around you, and they talk through the reading. I also read the cards for you. I tap into astrology, which I know a lot about from doing thousands of readings in my life. And I see what's coming up, and when you get a reading, you can change the trajectory of things that you don't like, because we are so powerful that if something's going in a direction that we don't like, we can change it. I see patterns that are recurring and how to change them. And thank you, Gloria. And it's a shame, because I feel like I will start advertising more in my hometown now that we're not in a pandemic, to see people in person. It's a shame. I just feel like people are sitting there with all these problems, and I'm an underutilized talent. So anyway, thank you, Barbara. But that's where I'm at. I'm thinking about quitting. I'm thinking about quitting YouTube. That's how frustrating it's been. My numbers have gone down instead of up. I have to change what I do for Church of Spirituality. I have to have a whole separate YouTube channel for Church of Spirituality, because I give Church of Spirituality away. I don't monetize it. I give it away, and it's bringing my monetization down. It's bringing my money down. So I have to either quit doing Church of Spirituality or open up a new YouTube channel. So that's where I am. Please hit the thumbs up. please subscribe. I'm not a quitter. My moon is in Taurus. It helps me to just talk to you about where I'm at. It's very stressful to have to move. So, you wait and you wait and you wait. And I promise I'll shut up about it in a minute. But add to that rents where I live have gone up by 860% in 1 year. Hang on, Warren. Okay, I'm done. I'm gonna hang in there. I do need your support. I need your emotional support. I need you to help me to help you by booking a session. Okay, thank you. Ready? Warren's bugging us for a group hug. 1, 2, 3. Group hug! All right, I can feel the support. Thank you. And I don't have Terry helping me tonight because I've had to cut back her hours. I'm going to choose 3 cards about the Supreme Court. Basically, I told you this was going to happen. If you make a comment after the live show, it will help the algorithms. Yes, and when you hit the thumbs up, it does too. Rhonda loves our group hugs. Was that Rhonda? Yes. The Supreme Court, we can't count on the Supreme Court to protect us from an insurrectionist. We can't count on the Supreme Court to protect us from fascism. We cannot count on the Supreme Court to protect us. I'm going to pull 3 cards about what they did today, which most people weren't surprised by. Even though Trump, I mean, if you see, thank you, Barbara. I love you too. If you go back and you watch video from January 6th, you can't even believe how many people were there attacking the Capitol and attacking people and out for blood and out for killing. We can't count on the press either. True. Lecture Storm, you're on it tonight. You always use the search for my posts. Oh, that's good. So, I'm listening to Liz Cheney's book. I highly recommend Liz Cheney's book. I like listening to books, and when you listen to Liz Cheney's book called Oath and Honor, she recounts everything that happened on January 6th and who the criminals were, but recounts that day and everything that happened up to it and, during it and all that, and it's just so hard to listen to, but so clear that it was an insurrection. And by the way, my song about January 6th will be finished the end of this month because I've got the drummer and the bass player coming in, and then it's going to be available. I'll figure out how to get you guys to hear it. Thank you, Carol. It goes a long way. And thank you for giving people tips on how to help. And don't misunderstand me that I'm thinking you guys don't want to help me. It's not that. It's hard to know how to help. The most obvious way is to bring in some business. The Supreme Court. This is the Supreme Court. They're remaining the 5 of Pentacles. They're taking the low road, clearly. The 4 of Rods, they're trying to stay safe. Now, I said this about the Supreme Court. Whenever I read on what they were going to decide about the loser and the ballot, and they should just call him the loser. They should call him the loser. The loser and the ballot and the loser. Whenever I read on it, it was like mamby-pamby, I don't know, well, maybe, well, let's throw it back to the states. And then they said the states can't decide. It's not up to the states, it's up to Congress, which is why Jamie Raskin is on it right now. Clarence Thomas should have recused himself. He didn't. I told you on Friday, as if you need me to tell you. The Supreme Court of the United States of America is corrupt. We don't have enough Ketanji Brown Jacksons. We don't have enough Democratic justices. They want Oh yeah. Oh, thank you for mentioning that, Jackie. Because here's the thing. They should discover their damn courage, if you ask me. They should discover their damn courage. Sorry. You know, there's risk that goes with the territory. And I said before that, you know, when Putin invaded Ukraine, I felt like that was an opportunity for us to all find our inner warrior, our inner defender of democracy, right? Our inner Ukrainian. Remember we were talking about that 2 years ago? The Supreme Court, they're afraid of death threats. Okay, well, if they are afraid of death threats, and I do pick that up strongly, let's check the pendulum. Are they afraid of death threats? Is that what's going on? Uh-huh. Big time. Thank you, Thomas. You know, sometimes my guides just tell me, Annette, you just have to ask. You just have to ask people to help you. Thank you. It works. This is them being afraid of the death threats. That's a big part of it. That's a big part of it. But check this out. If the Supreme Court justices need protection, all they have to do is ask. Dancing Warrior, I don't believe the Supremes will give up their cushy lives to live under the rule of a dictator. Are they truly a threat to us? What if 45 turns on them? What do you mean, are they truly a threat to us? The Supreme Court? Indirectly, they're a threat because they have the power to say, according to the 14th Amendment, Section 3, insurrectionists are disqualified from running for office. And they went, we're afraid of death threats. They're not doing their job. We will make it. Yes, we will make it. Tell your friends and neighbors. It's very disconcerting that there are people out there. I'm in a blue state, so I don't see it very much. But there are people out there still waving the loser flags. It should just say, the loser. Thank you, Maria. You guys are awesome. See? That's why I show up. So, yeah, Judge Ludwig said Section 3 is, I mean, these scholars, these judges who are like the veterans of judging, that are just creme de la creme. They could recite the entire United States Constitution with their eyes closed. They live and breathe the United States Constitution. And they're saying, I mean, we don't even have to be scholars to go, duh, it's right there. It's right there. And we saw it with our eyes, what he did. We're going to go down and I'm going to walk with you and we're going to fight like hell and take our country back. Right there. Plus all the evidence. Let's not forget the January 6th committee hearings. It was all right there, all spelled out. Jack Smith has everything, all the evidence, and then some. They're still finding out. And the Supreme Court is mamby-pamby. Well, we don't know. You do know. You do know. The Supreme Court only reads vacation pamphlets. I like it. Clarence Thomas should have recused himself. A bunch of chicken shifts. Yeah, I wish it was just that, Dale Johnson. So they're trying to stay in their cushy little safe zone. Ludwig was on the short list to be a Supreme Court justice. Let's think about the solutions to this. The solutions to this are Joe Biden and Kamala Harris and all the Democrats in Congress. Though that's the solution. The solution... Oh, well, that's a good question, Clarence. Will they give him immunity? We'll look at that. The solution is this. More Democrats running in elections, winning. I know Gloria's saying vote. We have to do more than vote. Yes, we do have to vote. We have to vote. We definitely have to vote. Everybody vote. Thank you, Rose. You guys are going to help me pay my rent. Thank you. We have to be involved and take out Mike Pence already. They had the gallows with a noose. They were like 40 feet away from Mike Pence. Do we have to recap the whole thing? They were like 40 feet away from Mike Pence. They almost got him. They could have gotten Pelosi. Their intention was to put a bullet in Pelosi's head. And they're trying to say, oh, well, the states can't decide that. Well, they threw it to the states, this whole abortion ridiculousness. I hope you guys don't mind that I'm ranting, but I'm really pissed off. Thomas to the rescue with a dad joke. A man sued an airline company after it lost his baggage. Sadly, he lost his case. Thanks. Thanks. My biggest concern about all this. My biggest concern about all this is that just this precedent. That's my biggest concern. We're all ranting today. We need to rant. We need to get it out of our systems. And thank you for indulging me. I do appreciate it. You don't know how much I appreciate it. Yeah. It's going to get crazier. The loser is not wanting to be on the ballot for any reason except he wants to be a dictator. And he wants to not be held accountable for any of the many, many crimes against the United States that he's committed. Thomas, I'm your worst dad joke nightmare. No, we like it. It's good. Comedic, relief, like Shakespearean. When he didn't win in 2020, look what he did. He will not win. Gloria, try colloidal silver. Nose spray. Sorry, I know that was kind of random. When he did not win in 2020, he did not accept the results of the election. He has never, ever said, the loser has never, ever said that if he lost an election, he would accept the results. Anybody? Challenge me on that. Has he ever said he would accept the results of an election if he lost? That's where we are. The Supreme Court they just totally ignored that he incited a violent insurrection where people died. I'm going to pull 3 more cards on the Supreme Court because there's the whole immunity. Now let's, if that doesn't blow your mind, if today doesn't blow your mind enough, we know what happened last week, right? Ba-boom, 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 ba-boom. They're going to take the case of whether he has immunity. They're going to take the case of whether the President of the United States could execute his opponent and get away with it. And rather than saying, no, that's ridiculous, he shouldn't be able to do that, then, let's take a look. I'm pulling 3 cards for further information about the Supreme Court. They're not the only ones getting death threats. I heard Alina Habba say on some stupid right-wing show, I heard her say something, and I mentioned this before, and you probably know this. Well, and some version of, Trump got Brett Kavanaugh on the Supreme Court. So Brett owes him. Okay, so this is what I get. What's a lame duck Supreme Court? They're just gonna keep. No, we know. Well, whatever. The mamby-pamby. I'm telling you, mamby-pamby. Will John Smith bring charges of insurrection against a loser? Why are you calling him John? Thank you, CM, for $33. That's a magical number. We never found out who it was that paid off. Whose bills? I can't read that. We never found out who paid off whose bills. I can't. That's not legible to me. As far as more about the Supreme Court, they're just going to sleep. They're just going to sleep. They have, Kavanaugh's bills. Oh, thank you for clearing that up for me because I couldn't read what she wrote. Yeah, that's a good point. It's a corrupt Supreme Court. They might as well not even be there. They're just causing more damage. They're going to be asleep. Okay, as far as the immunity thing and what we can expect from them next, it's like the Eight of Rods, like a fast-moving, what is that? What's that saying? Hurry up and wait. Hurry up and wait. That's where they are. The Three of Rods. They're really not going to take this up. Now, I don't mean they're not going to take up the immunity case because we already know that they said that they would, which they shouldn't. I love beer. Brett Kavanaugh. What a horrible, horrible thing that was. Debbie, was it Blasey Ford? Yeah, they're good at taking our money and doing nothing in that court. We've got to rise up, people. This is, a democracy is government by the people. By the people, not by the Supreme Court. So they're just going to be like, oh, well, immunity? Let's ask if he gets immunity. Let's just ask straight up, does he get immunity? Will Trump get immunity? I don't get that he will. It's such an embarrassment, that's for sure. We have to vote in a majority House and Senate and POTUS. Yes. Yes, we have to keep our eyes on the ball. And if you're not a member of Grassroots of Democracy, then you're missing my newsletters. But I wrote a pretty detailed newsletter about the 7 Mountain, what is it, the 7 Mountain Decree or something? I think I might have to find it for you in case you guys don't, bear with me, in case you haven't heard about it. But if you go to Substack and you look under Grassroots of Democracy group, the 7 Mountain Mandate, I won't take too long. I just want to see if, okay, the 7 Mountains, this is they want to turn America into a Christian, an extremist right Christian nation. Yes, it's terrifying. So in case you don't know, Deb is Googling it. They have to, this is a mandate from God. It's an absolute cult. And that's what the article is about. Go to Grassroots of Democracy group on Substack and subscribe. It's free. You can pay if you want to support, my efforts. They want to transform, according to their right-wing extremist theology. First of all, so forget about the separation between church and state, which this country was founded on. They want to resurrect King George, I guess. They need to disrupt, dismantle, and recreate. Here are the 7 mountains. Education, religion, family, business, the government and military, arts and entertainment, and the media. So according to their 7 Mountain Mandate, and there's not just like 1 or 2 of them. MAGA Mike is the big, the head honcho there. Those things, education, religion, family, business, government and military, arts and entertainment, and media, They have a decree that they need to attack. And that's what they're doing. They're literally taking books away from children. They're literally writing new books that change American history. This is why we have grassroots of democracy. And all the other, I want to focus on the good. There are so many pro-democracy groups. Oh, thank you for getting the article and sharing it. There are so many pro-democracy groups out there. This is a pro-democracy channel. Clearly, obviously, we have the Smurf with I love the Constitution. Yes! We have the Leprechaun, too. That's, I think that's going to be Larry the Leprechaun. Just so you know. We'll get to him. Seems like Americans are predisposed to cult love. Well, when people don't enjoy thinking, damn me. Yes, they can go blah, 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 fill in the blank. When people don't enjoy thinking, when people don't enjoy learning, when people don't engage their brains into bettering themselves and society, very susceptible to fascism. Very. As long as they can turn people into bleep bleep little sheeps, they will take as much power as they can. And I wanted to say that it hasn't left me. Some of the things that you read in the news are like, oh my goodness. Discernment has been thrown out, yes. What are the Republicans going to do tomorrow? The birth control pill goes on sale nationwide over the counter. Oh, I didn't know that. How did I miss that story? I don't know how people can see 45 and all he's done and say, yeah. There are a lot of pro-democracy groups all over the country. We are working hard. As far as the right-wing extremists, the Seven Mountain Mandate, I mean, think about it. Can you imagine your life being dictated by the decrees of Christian extremist right-wing nationalism? Everybody just don't think about it for too long. But let's think about it for long enough that we let it sink in and tell everybody. A right-wing I guess it's theoistic, what's the word? Theocracy. Means they're in your bedroom, they're in your religion and your spirituality, they're in what you do for your daily life, they're in the life of your family. It gets you upset. We're supposed to be upset. That's a motivator. They decide, what, in China not too long ago, they were deciding how many children people could have. It is a horror film. Everybody would have to be under their religion. Now, look at the Taliban. Libraries, they'd be in your libraries. They would tell you what thoughts you can think and what thoughts you cannot think. Don't get me wrong. I don't believe it's going to work. It's a Handmaid's Tale come to life. Yeah, I could never watch that because some things are too scary to think about. Over the weekend, yeah, in China, they had you could only have one child. And now they're having the problem in China now, of many problems, is that they have too many elders and not enough of the younger generation. Our liberties will be completely gone. So these yahoos that are out there going, yeah, we want Trump, what they're basically saying is we don't want to be free. And unfortunately, Americans don't know what that means. And, in theory, maybe in their demented, warped brains way of thinking, corrupt, brainwashed brains, maybe in theory that seems like a good idea. But if it really came down to it for them, if they were like in Russia, like that family that moved from Canada to Russia, because they were afraid of the acceptance of gay people. So they You all know the story. I talked about it. Yeah, they changed the law in China. They finally had to change it because they didn't have any young generation, and it's going to take a long time to fix that. This family moved to Russia, sold the farm literally, and they put their money in a Russian bank, and their money got confiscated, and now they're in Russia. This just flipped over, so we'll say my bracelet's got a string. This just flipped over, so we'll take a look at it. The Wheel of Fortune, the Five of Swords. There will be more pain inflicted. There will be more pain inflicted. I'm telling you this, I don't mean physical pain. I mean, I'm telling you this because our democracy is under attack. And this is about the attacks, the more attacks that will be inflicted on the American people. But I have the Wheel of Fortune. And that means it's going to go in a different direction. And I really do feel that that is because of how many Americans are finally paying attention. Yeah, all the different religions. We live in a diverse country. It's a beautiful thing. All the various religions under a theocracy would be shut down. They would control your entire life. Do you like your life? I was just complaining about my life, but it's not without. Come on, Annette, you have it pretty good. I just know I have goals that I want to reach faster, right? Putin wants to force 10 kids. You mean 10-year-old kids? Now they put up videos about that life in Russia. The family, the Canadian family, they were kind of forced to put out a video. They complained, because I guess they have a YouTube channel, the Canadian family that moved to Russia. And so they started to complain a little bit. Oh, it's not what we thought. They won't give us our money. And then the Russian police came in and said, you can't, or whoever showed up, you better take it back. I just started pulling, I started pulling a couple more cards because the Wheel of Fortune flipped over. They put out a lot of videos about how happy they are in Russia. Yeah, how happy that's under duress. How happy can they be without any money for their family? It's so tragically sad. That's how far off the rails somebody's thinking can get when they're brainwashed into believing that gay people are gonna destroy your family. Hell. I'm not sure they're free to leave to come back to Canada. I don't think that we can read on that if you're curious. Is it Super Tuesday for both or just the GOP tomorrow? I'm not even sure. Does somebody know? Putin wants to force children for housing and food. What does he want to do? Yeah, dictators starve their people. Russia took the Canadian family's passports. I'm sorry for the children. Oh my gosh, I'm horrified at that Canadian family's children. Oh my gosh, it's awful. Both parties tomorrow. Okay. Oh, I am spiritual, lives in California. Trump wasn't even on the ballot. You couldn't even believe it. Oh, good. Oh, that's great. I have the Ace of Swords, the Sword of Truth. I promise I'll get to the good news. I promise. Somebody's saying both tomorrow for a Super Tuesday. Goodbye, Ted Cruz. Yeah, we could read on that too. Yeah, that family has no money even if they wanted to come back. Okay. We're going to have a lot of pain inflicted into our democracy. That's already happening. Yeah, you thought that Trump would be on the ballot. Isn't that interesting? I wonder if he'll even be on the ballot in Illinois. You had to search for Biden's name. Oh, the two older kids of that family stayed in Canada. Wow, that's really hard. I love you too, Dale Johnson. The Ace of Swords is a sword of truth. Electra Storm was giving me a hard time the other day. On Friday, she's like, I'm shocked you haven't voted yet. I was like, well, what do you mean? We cleared it up. I generally vote on voting day. I think in 2020, I did a Dropbox ballot for Electra. We cleared it up. It's all good. It's all, even when I yell at Warren, it's all with love. Sometimes we just misunderstand each other. How's it going to go for Super Tuesday? Will Joe Biden have a winning showing on Super Tuesday? Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Joe Biden's going to have a strong showing. Warren's weep, weep. Warren, you can take it. I know you can take it. If you're a registered GOP, you won't see Biden, but you could write it in if you've had enough of the loser. You mail it in, then they text you to let you know they received it. Yeah, double check, make sure you're registered and everything. You know, when I move my residence, I'm going to have to change all that, make sure that I'm registered at the right new address and all that. Sure going to miss my office. Anyway, Warren's from New York City. He can handle almost everything. So, you know, Bostonians and New York people, we get each other. Oh, so much to read on. I saw a video yesterday of the heinous John Kennedy of Louisiana. I don't know. Did anybody see this? I didn't. I'm moving to a new apartment. It's I don't know yet. Hopefully down the street. Please say a prayer for me that I get this apartment. Anyway, I digress. There was a video of John Kennedy at a hearing where a woman showed up from Tennessee who had the same kind of situation that happened in my family. She was pregnant and at around 24 weeks. I hate that I'm even having to tell you this. At around 24 weeks, the pregnancy wasn't viable. The fetus had a lot of health issues. It would not have survived. The baby wouldn't have survived. So at about 24 weeks, it turned into a crisis. Like we've heard this so many times. He's a ghoul, all right. He's a demonic force. So she was holding it together. I posted this on there on my community page post if you want to look at it. I believe it might have been TYT. Anyway, you can find it. Kennedy, if you type in John Kennedy, Louisiana abortion hearing. So this woman, she was holding it all together. She was telling her story. She was stating her case. She could not get the health care that she needed. They have just a modest income. They have another small child. They had to figure out how to get to New York so she could get the health care that she needed. It had to be, the child was not viable. It wouldn't have survived, and she needed an abortion. When she started to break down crying, because they, you know, at that point, they kind of named the child. They don't know there's something really, you know, fatally wrong. After she stated her case, the heinous demonic John Kennedy of Louisiana, I wish he had a different name, had at the ready a poster of a picture of a 24-week-old fetus that he held up. That's misogyny gone off the freaking deep end. It was, I mean, if that doesn't motivate women and men alike to get out there and put an end to this cruelty, I don't know what will. It was, I mean, we've seen so much cruelty, but this was like, I was Speechless. Yeah, funny how that was so handy. So after she broke down. She was being really strong, and she broke down. And after that, she did come back and she did say something afterwards. But after that, he pulls out a poster. You saw that? I am actually going to pull 3 cards on that. He used to be a Rhodes Scholar and a Democrat. How can anybody be that cruel? He should lose his you-know-what for that. Swear to God. Yeah. Whoa. Whoa. Oh, thank you, Dale Johnson. The pendulum says I'll get the apartment I desire. It's right down the street. And I have a friend that's living there now. And I have to move and she has to move at the same time. It's just that time has run out for where I am. It was a limited situation, time-wise. When you're self-employed, you kind of have to keep your rent, You just never know how business is going to be. This is my income right here, people. Book a reading. It'll be good for you. I'm pulling 3 cards about John Kennedy. Oh, yeah. This is bad for him. This is bad. Actually, this is really bad for him for how much backlash is going to happen. Where I kind of feel like he's going to go back into the shadows, back into the bowels of hell. I'm talking about John Kennedy of Louisiana. I'm not talking about Robert Kennedy. I know it's easy to get confused. He's an old guy. He looks like he's made out of dough. He's got this doughy, pasty complexion. He's got these big glasses, and he just looks like, remember from Ghostbusters, sorry. No, I'm not talking about him. I'm not talking about Robert Kennedy. Let's get on the same page. John Kennedy of Louisiana. He's a senator. Robert Kennedy is a disgrace too. Yeah, he is. I wonder if he would be that cruel. No relation. He was an actor on the show on TV, West Wing, about the presidency. Oh, I'm confused. He's a terrible person. He's made out of dust. He looks like he's made out of dough to me. Doughboy. Probably has never lifted a weight or ridden a bike in his life. Louisiana senator. You know what I mean? Remember when he read in the Senate? John Neely Kennedy is the name of that horrendous person. Yeah, so I hope you all, know who I'm talking about. He really, the 10 of Cups, this is giving people ammunition to work with. Don't be surprised you might see a commercial made out of that display of abhorrent, unbelievable, unspeakable cruelty. They might just make a commercial out of it. I never thought I'd ever see something so cruel. And we've seen a lot of cruelty. Law and Order joke. 8 vowels, 11 consonants, an exclamation mark, and a comma appeared in court today. They are due to be sentenced next week. Let's hear it for the comedic relief. Oh my. By the way, let me make you feel better. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris have a lot of strong spirit guides around them. Yeah, you can't forget John Kennedy, senator from Louisiana. Once you see him and hear him, he's like out of a Stephen King horror movie. It's unbelievable. What was the point of that? All right, I'm going to get off that topic because it's just too upsetting. But we have to pay attention. Off the topic of him, but on the topic of taking away women's rights. Yeah, between that John Kennedy and MAGA Mike, yeah, the poor people of Louisiana. Tell you that Corn and Cruz and Holly and Cotton and Vance will all be gone and Blackburn. Yeah, wouldn't that be lovely? Marsha Blackburn. Gloria Johnson, speaking of heinous things, Gloria Johnson is running to take Marsha Blackburn's seat. Another one that the misogynist women, that just really throws me for a loop. But anyway, Marsha Blackburn is a misogynist and a fascist. And on that topic, support Gloria Johnson in Tennessee. I mentioned to the Grassroots of Democracy group on Saturday that they were talking about, Gloria Johnson was talking about in the Tennessee State House, the meetings that the press is welcome to attend. They shut them out. And that's happening repeatedly. In the Tennessee State House in Nashville, Tennessee, I used to live there, they shut the door to the press. And one of the press people was like, why can't I come in? Why can't we come in there? Why can't we come? You just can't. Why can't? Give me a reason why we can't come in. It's a democracy. They won't let the press in the State House. And when Gloria Johnson and Justin Jones and Justin Pearson want to say something during some vote, or when they want to say something, they won't pick on them. Same in Ohio. We the people. Right? We the people. I'm going to pull 3 cards about the effect of these taking away women's rights, the effects of these abortion bans on the election. Freedom of the press is in danger. Wasn't that on the list? That was on the list that I read to you, right? Media. Number 7. It's the 7th mountain. Go after the media. And they don't want to do legitimate elections. They just want to steal. Dirty week in progress. I know. It really has started off with a bang, hasn't it? Is that legal? Well, it's if they do it and nobody, like the masses don't Justin Johnson and Justin Pearson and Justin Jones, Justin Pearson and Gloria Johnson were kicked out of the Tennessee State House going on almost a year ago because they showed up for gun laws after the heinous gun massacre at Covenant School in Nashville. The people wanted to have a say. They did a peaceful march for gun rights, and that got them ejected from the Tennessee state government. And right around Easter Sunday, the Easter Monday, they got, because of all the pressure that they were under, all the protests and how unconstitutional that all is. Yeah, more and more people are wising up. That's true. John Kennedy speaks like foghorn. Who is that? I don't know who that is. So I'm reading on the effect of the abortion bans on the national election. They're trying to cheat. The 3 of Rods. What the fascists are counting on is that they will just throw out our votes. Who's Foghorn Leghorn? What is that from? Major Racism. That cartoon from Saturday morning cartoons. I don't know that one. Maria saying the press lockout reminds you of the House representatives who was arrested after she knocked on a closed door meeting. Yes, when the top dog was signing a bill into law. Yes, that was in Texas. Remember that? We should write all these things down. So what they're counting on. Oh, Foghorn is a cartoon rooster. All right, I think I know what you mean. I didn't know he was racist. Racist rooster. So what I'm asking about is, will these abortion bans have an effect on our election? What I see, I know what you mean now, the rooster that says, I say boy, but I didn't realize he was racist. I guess I never listened to him that much. The Seven of Cups tells me that they're attempting to throw out our votes. I'm not just saying that. That is something that's in operation right now. That's what they're counting on. They're counting on throwing out our votes because they know they can't win on stealing women's rights. They know they can't win on their racist, fascist platform. So they're planning to throw our votes out. I mean, is this sinking in? You know, I'm usually right. Not 100%, but usually. That's where they are right now. Yes, yeah, Ken Paxton, the other demon, has thrown out votes in Houston. Arizona Rep. Slanted legislature keeps introducing legislation that lets them decide who gets the electors. Yeah. You heard it here. They're planning to throw out our votes. Let's ask if it will work. Let's ask if it will work. Remember, we have angels and guides. Beto lost because of Paxton. How many times? Because I can read if somebody actually had more votes, but they were stolen. And that's what I read about Beto O'Rourke. Will it work? Will it work to kill our democracy? The pendulum is saying no. Yeah. The pendulum, I feel like by the time November rolls around, the American people are going to be so pissed off. I mean, honestly. And that's a strong no. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. Yay. Right? Yay. It's just like, it's letting some steam out of the pressure cooker. Well, the clock is chiming 8. It's 8 o'clock. You might be able to hear it. Eastern time. A Warren lawyer dad joke. Why are state attorneys the most determined? Because where there's a will, there's a way. You guys are awesome. There have been rumors about Texas cheating for several cycles. Oh, yeah. I've read on that many times. Pluto and Aquarius, the people will rise up. We got to keep our eye on the ball. The days of just letting things happen and not acknowledging that it's we the people. A democracy is we the people. The days of just letting things, happen as they're going to happen and just voting. Those days are gone. They're over. We're going to have to be involved. And I think that people are starting to get the memo because the crueler they get, the more we're going to wake up. When it comes home and it affects your family. I mentioned my niece going through that. But we live in a blue state. Right? All that IVF ridiculousness in Alabama, I don't know if they've turned any of that around yet. But that affects not just pregnant women, but families, not just women, but families, with the entire family. And a lot of money. They sink a lot of money into IVF. You really think our country needs voting reform? Of course. Yes, of course we need voting reform. Oh, yeah. I mean, did you think we didn't know that, Marge? I know you know. We need a lot of voting. We need safeguards. And I read a little while ago that this election is going to have a lot of safeguards. So we're on it. We're on it, people. Monday night is Midas Touch. Yeah, John Lewis. Next time I'll show you a picture of after the last election when Biden won, legitimately, people have the power. Yes, people have, in terms of IVF, there were couples that it's like tens of thousands of dollars and up sometimes to get IVF fertilization, and it's really going to affect a lot of people that they've done that. I got the other day when all that happened with IVF in Alabama, I felt like it would be short-lived that they would have it be banned. Midas Touch is on Monday nights with the brothers, and it's always fun and it's really informative, so I'm going to go check that out. Thank you for your donations tonight. Thank you for understanding and letting me rant about my personal challenges in terms of not attracting enough people to get readings. It's a win-win. You're missing out on some good talent here if you don't get a reading if you want. I hope that you do. And when you become a member, that's just like a subscription, and you're invited to a psychic party once a month on the top 2 levels. So if you don't want to get a reading, if you just can join, be a member, that would be great. Okay, you got me. Thank you, Maria. That means a lot. Okay, we'll see you soon. PsychicAnnetteDion.com is where you book a reading. And thank you for coming together and being with us tonight. Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 7 p.m. Eastern, live stream. As you know, please hit the thumbs up and please subscribe. That helps me, and it's free. And you don't get like spammed or anything from it. Okay. We've got this. Love you all. Namaste. See you soon.